Have you ever wondered why some people receive blessings so effortlessly, like risk chasing them instead of the other way around? What if the secret isn't in how much effort you make, but in what you recite before you sleep? In this powerful reminder, Mufti Menk reveals a hidden treasure from the Quran, a surah that the Prophet ﷺ never went to bed without reciting. A surah that not only protects you in the grave, but unlocks unseen doors of sustenance in your life. Tonight could be the night your risk begins to multiply, not because of your job or your business, but because you chose to remember Allah when the world was silent. Stay with us as we uncover the spiritual secret that can bring baraka, peace, and risk directly into your life, even while you sleep. This is more than advice. It's a divine invitation. 1. Risk is more than just money. When we hear the word risk, most people immediately think of money or material wealth. However, in Islam, the concept of risk is far broader and more profound. It encompasses every blessing Allah grants His servant, not just in terms of income or possessions, but also in health, time, wisdom, emotional peace, and righteous companionship. Even the breath you take, the sleep that restores you, and the food that nourishes you, all of these fall under the umbrella of risk. Sometimes, Allah grants risk in the form of opportunities, doors opening at the right moment, or being saved from harm we never even knew was coming. Even the ability to make dua, to wake up for prayer, or to have a heart inclined towards goodness is a priceless form of risk. It is also important to understand that not all risk is visible or measurable. A calm heart during chaos, a sincere friend, or a guiding piece of advice at a critical moment are all forms of divine sustenance. True believers recognize these subtle blessings and are constantly thankful for them. 2. Allah is the sole provider. One of the foundational beliefs in Islam is that Allah alone is the true source of all provision. No employer, business, or human system is independent in granting sustenance. They are simply the means chosen by Allah. He provides to whom He wills, in the amount, and at the time He knows is best. Surah Al-Mulk beautifully reflects this concept, especially in verse 15. It is He who made the earth subservient to you, so walk among its slopes and eat of His provision. This verse is a reminder that while we must put in effort and seek risk, the actual giver is none other than Allah. Mufti Menk often reminds us that if Allah decides to open a door for you, no one can close it, and if He closes it, no one can force it open. Trusting in Him means recognizing that our sustenance doesn't come from people, but through them, by His will. This mindset brings peace. Instead of chasing people or fearing loss, we turn to the One who owns the treasures of the heavens and the earth. That is true tawakkul. 3. The secret of Surah Al-Mulk before sleep. Surah Al-Mulk holds a special status in the heart of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and among the early companions. It was his nightly companion, a surah he would never sleep without reciting. This wasn't by habit, but by divine wisdom. The Prophet ﷺ said, as reported in Sunan at-Tirmidhi, there is a surah in the Quran which contains 30 verses. It intercedes for a man until he is forgiven. It is Tabarakalladhi biyadihil mulk. This indicates that Surah Al-Mulk is not only a protection in the grave, but a powerful advocate for the believer in the hereafter. Mufti Menk beautifully explains that reciting this surah before sleep is not just a sunnah, it's a shield. While the world sleeps, this surah works as your defense, your light, and your intercessor. It purifies the heart, calms the mind, and spiritually resets the soul before the next day begins. More importantly, it realigns your heart with Allah's greatness, power, and mercy. In doing so, it invites rizq in all its forms, because you're sleeping in remembrance and trust of the one who never sleeps, the provider himself. 4. Spiritual connection. At night brings rizq in day. There's something deeply powerful about the quiet of the night, a time when the world sleeps but the hearts of the believers awaken in remembrance. Mufti Menk often emphasizes that the way you end your day spiritually affects how your next day unfolds. Reciting Surah Al-Mulk before sleep is not just a ritual, but a moment of deep spiritual connection. It's a time to disconnect from worldly distractions and reconnect with the Creator. When a person ends their night remembering Allah, especially through Quran, they sleep under His protection and mercy. This sincere nightly remembrance invites baraka into their life, often showing itself in the form of peace, clarity, and unexpected provisions during the day. Rizq isn't always about what you earn. Sometimes it's about being saved from loss, being given ease in difficult tasks, or gaining the respect and love of others. Allah honors those who remember Him in private. Just as the night conceals your worship, Allah reveals His blessings openly in your life. This is the secret many overlook. Rizq begins with a heart connected to Allah before the day even begins. 5. Why rizq will chase you. One of the most beautiful truths in Islam is this: when you walk toward Allah, He runs toward you. When you make Him your priority, He makes you His. Mufti Menk often says that rizq is not something you always have to chase. Sometimes it begins to chase you when your heart is in the right place. Reciting Surah Al-Mulk before sleep reflects sincere intention, trust, and submission to the will of Allah. This simple act of nightly remembrance builds a connection that brings divine attention and favor. When a believer consistently turns to Allah, especially in private moments, Allah opens doors for them in public. Rizq begins to flow through unexpected means. A call, a meeting, a discount, a solution, or a new path altogether. This is because Allah loves those who remember Him, and reward comes with remembrance. Just like rain that falls without invitation, baraka descends on those who rely on Allah. So, when you recite Surah Al-Mulk with humility and trust, you're not just reading words, you're planting seeds, and with Allah's mercy, those seeds grow into provisions that will follow you, even when you're not looking. 6. Real stories shared by Mufti Menk. Mufti Menk has shared many real-life stories of people whose lives transformed through consistent connection with the Quran, especially through the nightly recitation of Surah Al-Mulk. In one instance, he spoke about a man who had been jobless for years, despite having qualifications. After sincerely committing to reciting Surah Al-Mulk every night and making heartfelt dua, the man unexpectedly received a job offer, one he never even applied for. It came from someone who had once been impressed by his character, not his resume. In another example, a sister struggling with constant anxiety and financial stress began to find peace and stability in her life after turning to Surah Al-Mulk before sleep. It didn't just bring emotional healing, she also received financial help from places she didn't expect. These stories are not fairy tales, they reflect the reality of divine mercy responding to sincere effort. Mufti Menk reminds us that the key is consistency and intention. Even if you don't understand every word, your effort is witnessed by Allah. Reciting with sincerity can bring both worldly relief and eternal reward, often in ways we cannot imagine. 7. Add dua. after the surah. After reciting Surah Al-Mulk, the heart is naturally softened, the soul is calm, and the mind is more focused on Allah. This is the perfect moment to make dua, supplication, because your soul is spiritually aligned and your words carry sincerity. Mufti Menk often emphasizes that dua made after Quran recitation is powerful, especially when it follows a surah as majestic as Al-Mulk, which glorifies Allah's sovereignty and mercy. At this moment, lift your hands and speak to Allah like a close friend and loving master. Ask Him, Ya Allah, grant me halal rizq that brings me closer to you. Protect me from rizq that distracts me from your path. Make me content and remove every unseen barrier standing between me and your blessings. These are not just words, they are keys that open spiritual doors. Mufti Menk reminds us that rizq is not only received through effort, but through dua. Your sincere call in the night may open doors that your daytime struggles could not. And when you end your night with such a heartfelt plea, know that the one you're asking never sleeps and never ignores. May Allah bless you with endless halal rizq, peace in your heart, and barakah in every step you take. When you make Surah Al-Mulk a part of your nightly routine, you're inviting divine mercy into your life. Don't let this secret slip away. If this video touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Pious Deen for more powerful reminders. Before you go, comment this beautiful prayer below. Ya Allah, grant me rizq that brings me closer to you. May your nights be peaceful and your days be filled with divine blessings.